Hello and welcome to this episode of Reality Check Conversations. I'm Tanya Cervoni. Today I have with me once again Catherine Burdett. Catherine joined us in a previous video talking about self-care for leaders. So if you did not get a chance to check out that video, you're definitely going to want to tune into that. Catherine is a coach, she's a facilitator, she's a speaker, she's an expert in all things emotional intelligence and resilience, and I am so pleased to have her with us today. Thank you for joining, Catherine.
Wonderful to be here again with you, Tanya.
So we're continuing this conversation around resilience and self-care, but we're kind of flipping the lens. In a previous video, we talked about what we need to do for ourselves. And now we want to talk about what are those things that leaders can do to support employees. I know from conversations I've been having, a lot of leaders are struggling with this because I think right now in this environment, sort of the line between being manager, coach, and almost therapist is getting blurred because there's so many different emotions going at play. And how do we help people in this time of stress and uncertainty? So if you had a couple of concrete strategies for us, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. Very well articulated. Yeah, leaders trying to be all things to all people. I think the number one strategy is simply be with them. Be with them wherever they are. And we'll talk about that more in a moment. I think the other piece is, we talk about it oftentimes, is this psychological safety. How do we create psychological safety for people, especially in times of uncertainty? And, the other piece is really around that ongoing encouragement and support, right? Sort of dialing down expectation, but still holding to accountability, I guess you could say, but with a gentler touch, with a lighter hand. And so one of the things that I'd like to say is being with our employees, our people, as we are engaging online. One of the first things I would say is create the space to be with them by getting us on the same page at the same time. Right now, at the outset of any of our meetings would be a good time just to take a deep, conscious breath. Try it with me right now, Tanya.
Yeah, as soon as you said that, I started breathing and recognizing that my breath was very shallow. And I can see how if everybody did that at the beginning of a conversation, it gets us all very present to one another, and I can feel the calming effect immediately.
Exactly. And it brings us to a time and place. It also helps us recognize that we're holding a lot of tension in our bodies. And if the leader can sort of highlight that for people, that we can recognize where we're holding tension and just let that go, so we can all come how we are to the meeting, but from a different place, right? From an expansive place, from a little bit more of a less tense place. And it will change the way that we are together on that call. The other part about being with is to check in with people in that moment. How are you coming into the call? And this is time to give them permission to be able to express however it is that they're feeling, because though we're in this journey together, people are in it in different ways. Some of us are more resilient. Some of us have kids at home we're trying to educate. Others of us do not. We're kind of on the journey, but at different places in the journey. So let them articulate how they're feeling, just to get it maybe off of their chest as well, okay? The next part that I would really want to encourage is this opportunity to, in being with them, is allowing yourself as the leader to be vulnerable with them. So maybe when you're sharing how you're coming into the call, you get to be the one that goes first, right? You get to be the leader that is willing to be vulnerable with how you might be feeling, because we always want to make it look like we're always on and we're always good and we've always got it going on. Well, that's probably not true. And so if they see us always being on and awesome and got it all going together, it has a way of actually making people feel that they can't be who they are, coming with whatever it is they're coming with. So being with people and creating the space can take on a lot of different different actions, I suppose you could say. The next part too that really falls out of this is creating that psychological safety. And what do we mean by that? It means allowing people just to be exactly where they're at and not be judged for it. So it doesn't matter how they're coming into the call. We're going to be open to whatever is and give them permission to show up that way. We're going to be open to their ideas, right? We're not going to make people wrong. We're going to be open and we're going to listen, because as leaders, that's really critical skill, is to listen and to ask more questions about what you think you hear is happening for them. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. And I know I've been having conversations with colleagues, and there's sort of this sense that we're not feeling, most of us, that we're at our best, at our full capacity. So meeting people where they're at and being accepting and creating that safety. I know I've had the conversation with my boss to just say, hey, it's not realistic to be producing necessarily the same amount of work we were before. I've got my daughter at home, I've got all this going on, and it's okay. And, to have a different kind of conversation around performance in this environment than you would in a typical environment. I think that that's crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and I think, as a follow-up to that is, so we meet in our group environments, but it's also checking in with people on an individual basis so that you can have, those one-on-one conversations and meet people, to your point, where they're at, because we're not in the same places at the same time. So, it really builds more of that connection. It builds out that trust, and it really helps individuals feel seen and heard and valued in that one-on-one connection, which is really what we're here to do as leaders. And so those would be, the top sort of tips that I would recommend at this time. And can I sneak one more in? Is it about making it simpler, Tanya?
Yeah.
Let's just make it simple, right? It's letting go of a lot of the things that we've had to do before, and just be simple and follow our heart, you could say, as a leader, to do what you feel is the right thing to do right now.
And I'm seeing a lot of that now, and it's refreshing and it's great. And I hope that's something that we carry forward as we make our way out of this. I do want to thank you for those tips, and thank you for sneaking in that last fourth one. And to ask you a question here to close, what is one thing that you're particularly grateful for that's come to light during this time for you?
Yeah, I'm really grateful for the fact that people are showing a greater degree of kindness to one another. They know that we're all traveling a tough pathway, and there seems to be a lot more kindness that we're extending to one another in our workplace, because we recognize that we're all traveling some different experiences, and we can help one another when we slow down and we express kindness to one another.
Beautiful. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
This concludes this episode of Reality Check Conversations. We really hope you got something valuable from this video, and please share it with family and friends and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. Hey there, me again. Did I mention that we'd love for you to like and share this video and subscribe to our channel, because we have a lot of good stuff still to come. And how great would it be to create some community around this conversation? Take a moment to share your comments, your insights, and your thoughts in the comment section below, where you'll also find a few additional resources we've created for you. Enjoy.